Hey, welcome to our very first episode. I'm here with Tom Brinson with St. Louis Real Estate, LLC, and I'm Jeff with Keyrex Properties, LLC. And we're going to go run around town a little bit and show you some properties. The first place we're going to stop is Benton Park West.
Check out some houses that need to be renovated and one that recently has been.
All right, great. Thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed. If you do, like and subscribe and leave a comment. Let us know where you'd like for us to show up the next time. 15 years ago when I moved here, or in the late 90s, a little longer ago, Benton Park was, Soulard was the hip happening place where everybody, and that was the property values that were going up. People were rehabbing places in Soulard. Benton Park was kind of the next frontier. So Benton Park West is now that new frontier, right? Is that how it...
Right. Where in Soulard you're seeing houses that are going for $180,000 to $500,000. In Benton Park West, you can still snatch them for 50, 60, 80,000 with, like we were talking about, after repair values, 150, 180, 200.
And so you can get a lot of space for a little bit of money, and that's kind of the draw.
Well, I think you nailed it with young professionals, because there's a bustling nightlife. Cherokee Street is booming. Right. There's a lot of activities. There's a lot of people in their mid to late 20s, early 30s who live in the area that it's not going to be typically your family buyers, but you will see a lot of your first-time home buyers.
I think that was Arsenal.
That was Arsenal.
All right, well,
we can get off on Grab with that too.
Looked at this one. This is built before 18. This is like 18.
I think 161 years old.
Yeah.
I think.
So is it vacant now?
It should be vacant. Yeah.
There were people living in it, like 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah. Now that was back in December, so it might be out by now. What are we doing? Oh, we're looking at this place.
To buy it?
It's listed. Yeah.
Really? Do you have a card? I might want to sell mine.
Absolutely.
But I think the more that, like, you guys come in, and if the rents get raised higher, they'll get all the crumbs out of here.
Right.
No, I'm not trying to call them bad people, but
Right.
when you got low rent, you're going to have low people.
Right.
I'm happy for you guys to come in and do something.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Retaining walls are a big question mark. You don't know. They might be $5 grand, they might be $50 grand. But this big chunk here, this all has to be remediated because the trees pushing out on it. If you're looking on the side of the house, that is at one time, that crack goes all the way up through the brick. And you'll see those stair-stepping cracks through brick, especially in a 160-year-old house. You're going to see that kind of stair-stepping wherever something has settled. But when you've got an active problem on a retaining wall and then you've got a crack in a house in the same place, you can bet that there's
something it's correlating.
It's probably not a coincidence.
Okay.
That Colt 45 can was there the last time I looked too. So.
I want to see it.
Oh, sorry, we didn't get in. They're doing some work because they got shingles on the roof.
Yeah, they said that they were doing some stuff in the listing too. So
We'll have to follow up with them.
Okay.
On this one.
Let's head to the next house.
For the price, $39,000. That's a really good deal when you're just figuring out the numbers of the acquisition cost and how fast you'll cash flow out of the payment on that house. However, when you look at a house that's 161 years old, the repairs are going to come off it. So you probably need to go a little higher on your repair. Normally you would figure in 10% vacancies and repairs on a house that old. I don't know, and since I see that they're doing work to it now, I don't know how much of it needs to be rehabbed. Unfortunately, we didn't get to go through that one. There was people tenant in place, and they knew nothing about the showing, or at least didn't want to.
Didn't know of the sale at all. Yeah.
Yeah, didn't want us to know about it. So
Right.
that's kind of where we are with that one. We just have to respect their wishes. It's their home. So we'll just go on to the next one. I always get Nebraska and Wyoming mixed up. Yeah, this is one of those parts of town where having a park on the corner is not necessarily
A good thing.
beneficial thing.
Right.
All right, so I'm
But this is a good opportunity to just talk about Cherokee too.
we just you would just kind of show. I mean, this is what Cherokee looks like.
So.
Cherokee's always been good Mexican food.
Mm-hmm.
This was typically the.
We've got pistachio ice cream right here that's out of this world. Just inside.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Tends to be a little bit more of a liberal demographic, I would say, too, down here.
Judging from the murals, what's the house number again?
3253.
We just passed it.
Oh. That's
And this is a one-way too, so I'll circle
I was
around.
gonna say that's a key real estate point is you always drive past it once.
Oh,
unintentionally.
absolutely. Bam! Look at this. This is Wyoming, right on the corner, and you look right here on this corner. So you have a finished product and you have potential, and you know,
Boarded up and
as an investor, you have to monetize that potential. And in this type of neighborhood, sometimes it takes just a little bit more than money. You have to sacrifice something. The more good you shove into a neighborhood, now we're getting into philosophy, but the more good you shove into a neighborhood, the more bad you shove out. And that's where business owners who take that leap and go into places like Cherokee, that's where it helps. You need a whole lot of elements to come together to make the neighborhood come back, and that's just.
well, and it's not just one investor who's going to be able to get that done. It's going to be a whole lot.
Yeah, a concerted effort.
Right.
In the city of St. Louis, and you're not familiar with the city at all, the first thing you're going to hear is stay away from the state streets. Everybody that I've talked to, that's the common denominator. Stay away from the state streets. And you can see that there are bad parts, but the thing that's really difficult about that is the state streets run the whole east side of the city.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you that Compton's a great example because it cuts through even over the highway. You could find a place for $5,000 on Compton, and you can find a place for $300,000 on Compton. So
Right.
it's you have to be able to peel back the layer and look a little deeper to really appreciate what's here. And it takes that particular type of person to move in and bring a neighborhood back, in my opinion. Those are the people that I've seen over the last 15, 16 years of living here and living in the city that really get it done. So, all right, so we're here. We're going to
Take a quick commercial break. We'll be back to show you the house.
We'll be back. Yeah, see, there's the tuck pointing right there on the sidewalk.
Over the floor, yeah, on the ground. Well, with tuck pointing, you can spend, $1,000 or?
It depends. I don't have a good per square foot price on it. I don't know what a good average to use is off the top of my head. I usually get that bid because it's going to depend on how high it is. They have to use scaffolding because as we look into this building, if I'm tuck pointing 5 feet up, it's going to be pretty easy. But there may be 3 feet between this building, and if you've got a tuck point up at the top, You're going to have to build scaffolding. I don't know how you're going to get up there with a ladder. So there's a lot of variables. I'm nervous about my van, I got to tell you.
Really?
Somebody in there?
No, there's no one.
No alarm? I thought I heard somebody. Cracks in the ceiling, you know, usually people get nervous about that, but I don't see any active leaks. Plaster gets heavy in these old buildings and the plaster and lath. The problem is when you go to patch that, it just all falls down. So, you know, whenever you go to fix those things, now there's some little bit of water marks around that that could be active. So the way I look, oh, this is nice. This is a nice original leaded stained glass window. Nice little deck.
When there's built-in bench isn't something you're going to find out in your house.
No, this is a really nice feature. I mean, this is, and it could be redone pretty easily. It's even from a landlord. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really something.
It's just amazing the level of care and intricacy that they put into the building of this originally.
The real things we're looking for were the roof, the foundation, and the just the overall systems.
So your big ticket items.
Big ticket items, right? What the cabinets look like, we really don't care, because I mean, like a situation like this, we're going to have to replace them anyway. The air conditioner, you can see that right out there. That's caged. That's because if it wasn't, it would be gone.
It would walk away.
Yeah.
There's a TV in the yard that comes with the house, it looks like.
That right there looks like a rear projection. At one point it was.
Will you have to negotiate that in the sales contract?
I think so. My first thought when I see that stuff laying on the floor.
Those pieces.
Oh, did you? When I see this, that's insulation, pipe insulation. So that my first thought was that the copper's gone.
Pretty typical that you see all the pipes and wires stripped out of these houses.
On a vacant property, yes. Yeah, see that big open gap right there?
Yeah.
With that door? That's the A coil, which is made of copper, which means that it's gone, the copper's gone.
Okay.
That's the first thing they did. They tore it off. There's the pipe broken right there. So yeah, you can kind of bet this place is sat vacant for any amount of time. Is that copper? No, it's PEX. So the copper's probably been missing for a while. Usually, PEX is the blue plastic stuff, and it's worthless to steal it. So the blue's cold, the red is hot. So somebody might have come in after the copper was missing, but 60,000.
Yeah.
And how many square feet?
Square footage. So 1536. So 1,536 square feet living space.
There's some cracks in the ceiling there.
It's got clean upkeep. Somebody cares about it.
Those are beautiful. Yeah, that's.
A Victorian era finish on that duplex. Oh, that's a quadplex.
But the
More
thought that went
quad.
into getting the right bushes and getting a stylized view, that's where you notice the difference. This is a real poor man's rehab here, because what they've done instead it's boarded up, but they just painted windows on it. Painted the doors. Solid. What kind of problems do you have with it? Yeah.
Please. Yeah.
Gotta watch your head. See, you're taller than I am.
Our strategy is to buy buildings and rehab them and then use that cash to eventually buy and hold buildings. So it all depends on where you are in your business as to what your strategy is. And this is why we primarily deal with single family homes, because that's what we're looking for now. Probably about the time this neighborhood's coming up, we'll be in this market. So this is a pretty good exercise to go through it. But I don't know, and it's nice to have a renter's perspective too, a tenant's perspective on how the building's upkeep, because that's ultimately, I always look at it, they're your customer.
Yeah.
So you always want to listen to their feedback. Since it's an older building, you have to figure in a much bigger contingency on the what if factor. You know,
if factor, yeah.
If it's a newer house from the 50s up or 60s up, you might put 5 to 10%, but I would say 20% on it is. And I have an apartment building that we're working on now, and my contingency is almost the same as my repair value.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know how the plaster is going to hold up and how the walls are going to hold up when you go to work on them and go to paint them, especially if they've taken on water. So, yeah, there's a lot of issues with an older building, and everybody knows that's what you're getting into when you're coming down here. But and if you just buy a building and you just do a little bit to it, it's a pretty good example of how much work you have ahead of you. If you just do a little bit here, a little bit here, you're always going to have work done.
Fighting fires instead of preventing them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, cool. Let's go check out one that's move-in ready. How about that?
Let's do it. I need to check my voicemail.
Okay.
Too. So this is a completed one, and this is not a QREX Properties building, but it's very nicely done, and we want to contrast that in this neighborhood with some of the ones that we looked at before. And it's a perfect example. They've done a lot of kind of high-end things, but you'll notice too, if you look at the floor, it is original to the house. They could have pulled it all up and put down new wood floors, and it would have been beautiful, but this originality is kind of what makes it special. The ubiquitous stainless steel and granite countertops. Off-white being really popular. Stylish backsplash in the kitchen. Yeah, this is really, really cool. I like this. Extra storage here because you don't have a whole lot of cabinets. For most people who like to cook, they want more cabinets than this. But it's cool. It's really cool. Really well done. I like the sink and the island. And the dishwasher and the island. Go take a look downstairs. This little half bath right here. Very well done.
Well, they obviously took out some stuff to make this an open floor plan and really just open up this one big room on the first floor. Make it a big flow.
Yeah, this is the original floors. Gorgeous. 6'5".
Wow, what are you like, 6'2"?
6'4".
6'4"? Yeah, y'all
Yeah.
big boys.
We're the big boys in real estate.
Right.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is Tom and Jeff. If you have any neighborhoods or any houses that you want us to come look at, please let us know. Make sure and like and subscribe at the bottom of the page.